All right, we should be live. We'll let people come in, hang out for a little bit. I don't have a circle around my head. That is great.
It's a lot better.
All right, I need to have my comments up as well. Hey, when y'all
You
join
live on YouTube as well?
Yep. Hey, when y'all guys join in, talk to us. Hey, tell us what's up. Let us know you're here. You know, give us a shout out. I want to make sure everything's live. Everything live on Facebook, y'all? Or y'all don't know?
I don't know. I'm not on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I don't see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're live on
Facebook.
We got 6 viewers. All right, let's go ahead and get it started. All right, I'm Trey Scott. We got Chance Scott here. We got Ryan Pittman here, and we're here to talk about the NCHSAA 2A East third round matchup. Number 19 Kinston is traveling to Ayden-Grifton. The number 6 seed Ayden-Grifton for another matchup. They had a regular season matchup week 3, and now here we are, third rounds of the playoffs, 10 miles apart. I'll start with you, Ryan. How big is this game, man, between two teams right down the road?
I mean, it's massive. I know it's a road game for Kinston, right? But it kind of feels like a home game after the first 2 weeks of the playoffs. I mean, they travel all the way pretty much to South Carolina and then to Burlington for, 2 matchups against, good teams. And they have become the road warriors. And, as long as they keep going in this playoff, they're going to have to go on the road to do it. But it's a team that they're familiar with. I think the coaching staff is familiar with Ayden-Grifton. The players are familiar with each other. I mean, it's a huge matchup. Like I said, it's not in Kinston, but it's 10 miles of the road, man, right up 11. Easy to get to for the Kinston fans.
Well, I love this matchup. For one, we got ECC Kinston. You got Wallace, you got Southwest Onslow, you got James Keenan, you got East Duplin. They're battle tested. And look at the EPC, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might be one off. I think everybody from that conference made the playoffs. We're talking about 7 teams make the playoffs, and Ayden-Grifton came out on top. That is a gauntlet. Like that is a gauntlet. And knowing how battle tested these teams are, this game is very, very underrated. Both teams are way better than a record. I mean, let's look at Kinston last week. I'm gonna go to you with this, Chance. And Kinston knocked off an undefeated team. How did that go last week, Chance? What did Kinston look like? Were they just better? How did the game flow go?
Man, I honestly thought Kinston was the best team on the field, and it really wasn't close. The offense didn't hit its ceiling of the game until in the second half, and they didn't play well. But man, the defense, you're talking about, I don't know if they could have played much better. There were so many different guys you could go to. Isaiah Newton was in the backfield all night, man locking up over there on the outside, keeping the defender pretty much in lockdown all night. Kroon was making big plays. That defense was I haven't watched them but a couple of times, but it was the best I've seen them all year, and Diesel's got them on the right track.
Good deal. And I'm just excited that, these teams, Kinston, teams from our area often get looked down upon because we don't have success in the playoffs. So to see these teams, Kinston or whoever we're covering, to go to the Piedmont area and knock off a team that hasn't lost all year, that's pretty cool. I think we really got something here, y'all. We got a chance with this team to upset some teams. I've seen them play James Keenan at James Keenan, and they had James Keenan on the ropes. And we know how good James Keenan is. Obviously we've seen Wallace. We've seen Wallace get knocked off by North Go Hawks. Shout out to the Hawks, So we know that our teams can cover. Our teams can, do work. Big shout out to BJ Murphy. I'm picking Kinston. My money is always on Diesel. I respect it. Mine too. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Like I said, these teams have already met up, but before we get up on the meetings, let's talk about how each team got here. So on the first slide, Ayden-Grifton. Ayden-Grifton in the first round, that score is definitely wrong. Ayden-Grifton in the first round won 46 to 20, 25 to 22 against Norfolk North. That was a good game for about a quarter and a half. And then Ayden took over. Do you agree, Chance?
Yeah. North North's pulling out all their tricks because there was no way they were never stopping that Chargers offense. I feel like every time Chargers had the ball, they were in the end zone.
Then second round, Ayden takes care of business again against number 22, Edenton Holmes. I think it was a close game. I was listening to it while I was at the Northeastern game, trying to keep up with it, and it was close for a while. Then I looked up, and Ayden-Grifton just ran off with it. So that's how Ayden has got to the third round. What you got? Who said something?
Yeah, that game was 13-10. Edenton was up at halftime 13-10 because, I was checking up on that as well, and I was like, man, Kinston's winning in Burlington, and
Right.
they might have a home game now because Edenton's a 22 seed, and then I kept refreshing the scores, and I said, "Oh, yep." I mean, they're going to be on the road, but I mean, shout out to Ayden-Grifton for holding Edenton scoreless in that second half.
Again,
to check scores.
What'd you say, Chance?
I'm glad he was warm enough to check scores on Friday night. It was pretty cold outside.
Again, if you're joining us,
I wasn't there.
If you just join us, give us a comment. Shout out, talk to us in the comments. Give us what you think about the teams. What's your predictions on the teams? Give us your feedback. If we say something crazy and you think it's the opposite, let us know. I mean, we're just guys with some voices, just like y'all. All right, let's move on to the Kinston side. How did they get there? And this was pretty interesting feat for Kinston. Number 19 K High. They went down to South Columbus, which is a long tail ride, and they took care of business. 38-29 in overtime. We knew Tyreek had a big game. I know he had 100 yards. Then moving to the next game, Chance just talked about this game. Number 19 K High travels to number 3 seed Southeast Alamance, which is undefeated, and they won 26-13. And now here we are. So, Chance, that first game with Kinston, how did that go down? How did it look, the first matchup?
Man, you talk about a high school classic and, right in the middle of the season. You got Ayden-Grifton, who was 0-3 at the time of that game before dropping this one to Kinston, and then they went on their run. So, I mean, looking back on it now, this might have been one of the best matchups early in the regular season than probably what we expected. I mean, that first game, Tyler Jones, under 200 yards, but he found the end zone 3 times. He did throw a pick. Nate Brooks, the AG quarterback, I watched him versus Norfolk North. He can make some throws. I do think Tyler probably has the advantage on Brooks in this matchup. He had 2 touchdowns and interception. But my thing here is Alex Moore was a big part of last week's game. They were trying to give him touches because you get the ball in Moore's hands, man. He is shifty. He runs through the hole. He finds ways to score. He ran through a dude on the end zone for a 2-point conversion. I mean, he ran him over. So you give him the ball, he finds ways. He had 14 carries for 70 yards, but you go back to Ayden-Grifton, they got a guy too. EJ Ruffin, 17 carry, 80 yards. I mean, you talking about this is going to be a game. It's just who throws the last punch, who gets back up after getting punched. There were multiple guys. Tyreek, he's done it all year long. He shows up in these moments, 100-plus yards, 2 touchdowns on 8 catches. Okie is a guy. He had 3 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown. I need Okie Edwards to show up on Friday night because I think if you get him to show up, people are not going to be able to sit there and just allow you to beat them all night because they're going to try to shut down Tyreek. That's every team's goal was shutting them down, and that's what Southeast did. And for a while it worked, but when Tyreek got going, that's when it all fell apart. So I think Okie's got to have a big night. There's one guy on Ayden-Grifton I'm looking out for, Jack Ewell. He's 6'5" tight end. The dude is huge, man. I believe I read that Kroom was on him last time they played. So again, we called out Kroom last week, and man, he played great. I'm calling him out again. He needs to go out here and shut this guy down and find a way to get off the field.
All right. I see you, Coach Quinterly, Coach Hubert. I see you, big dog. Also, hey, we got some Vikings in here in the comments. They're ready, man. Row the boat. The Vikings are locked in. I see you, bro. I see you. Hey, it's going to be a good one. I see you, Ryan. Row the boat, baby. Row the boat. Hey, but Chance, you got way too far ahead of us. You started giving us predictions. Who needs to be shut down?
Had to, man. Have to.
Slow down. Slow down. I got some stuff for you guys. Ryan, check this out. Let's look at what. All right, so that was week 3. Kinston won 30-26. Coming after week 3, Ayden-Grifton was 0-3. Kinston was 1-2. And let's look out how the teams looked at week 3 and then after. So let's start with Ayden. Let me take off this ticker for you guys. It'll be easier to see. All right. Let's start with the Ayden, man. Look, the first 3 games, let's look at that. First 3 games, normal. I expected a pass-heavy Wingate offense with Paul Cornwell. I love how they do their stuff. But their first 3 games, they averaged 268 yards a game, 185 passing yards per game, 77 rushing yards per game, 2 picks, 2 fumbles, 0-3. The next 9 games, they go 8 for 9. They won 8 of the next 9 games, and they flipped the friggin' switch. Look at it. 327 total yards per game, 147 passing yards, 191 rushing yards per game. This is big. They have completely changed. Granted, there's more interceptions, more fumbles, but it is 9 games. Ryan, I'm gonna go with you on this one. What do you see from that? Just looking at the numbers and looking at what Ayden was doing, and they were losing, which are good teams. Because another thing about Ayden, every team on their schedule made the playoffs, I believe. I looked that up 2 or 3 weeks ago. It might be one team that didn't. But Ryan, seeing that number difference, I'm gonna put it up again and let you talk. What do you see from this?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that really sticks out to me, Trey, and I remember talking about it with you in game day when it was week 3 and Kinston was going to Ayden, was both of these teams were 0-2. Ayden had lost to Wilson Prep and Martin County. Wilson Prep a 118, Martin County a 218 that just lost to James Keenan last week. And they had lost big, and you had 0-2 Ayden, 0-2 Kinston. And, those 2 teams, of course, Kinston won that game. But, I mean, you look at the rushing yards, I don't know exactly. I mean, of course, we're not in that program. 191 rushing yards, averaging compared to 77. And the passing yards kind of go down a little bit. So the focus was definitely on the run. And I think that's what helped them be successful in that tough conference, man. You got Green Central, Farmville Central, West Craven, Washington, North Pitt, Southwest Edgecombe. And they knew they were going to have to run the ball, and they did. And, I mean, it's going to be a different team that Kinston is facing this week in the playoffs than what they saw in week 3 for sure.
All right. Well, let's jump to the opposite side. Like you said, coming into the game, they were 0-2. They just lost to South Central, then lost to Green Central, and 0-2. And me and you talked about this on game day. Is it time to hit the panic button? Like, we had the panic button pulled out, but we knew better. We knew better. We talked about it all, preseason. It was going to take a couple weeks to get this team going. New quarterback, a couple new transfers. It took them a while to get going. Let's look at the first 3 weeks, and let's look after. First 3 weeks, Kinston finishes. Let me get Coach Hubert's quote out of there. Disturbing the chat. Nah, send it all. We want all the comments, man. And second down is going to be huge. I'm going to put that up there first. I agree. All right. So the first 3 games for Kinston, it was 250. There were 1-2 on the season, 251 total yards, 196 passing yards, and 54 rushing yards. And a big one for me, in 3 games, 5 interceptions. Now that flips because Tyler Jones starts playing better. Not only does Tyler Jones start playing better, the offensive line starts playing better. The kids start getting to know each other better. They get that chemistry. They know that the screen works on this play, on cover 3, the slants there, whatever. They starting to learn their combos, who works good, well. Also, the rushing yards went up 69, 5 interceptions in 9 games. That's huge. That's huge. I've seen Tyler Jones struggle at the end of the year. in the last 5 weeks of the regular season. At the beginning of the year, he struggled. The last 5 weeks of the regular season, he was balling. He took care of the ball, and he was beating teams with his arm. Chance, what do you see when you see the difference between the first 3 weeks and the second half of the season?
I see a team that, like you talk about, new quarterback, new transfers. There's a lot going on. They found a rhythm. Everybody's figuring out their roles. And, Tyler's still a young kid, and I think he settled down. He once he had a good game, I think he found that switch of timing and not just throwing the ball because that's what the play calls, just getting rid of it. Because I seen him do it at Southeast Alabama. He just got rid of the ball, and that's something I didn't see earlier from in the year. And there's so many coaches are over there that are helping him that I think he took a massive leap. So that, to me, it's all on Tyler. Not all on him. Offensive line obviously helped, receivers helped, but Tyler took a huge step, and that was big for the Vikings.
He definitely did. He definitely got better during the season, and that was huge because you can't do it. Look at the offense. They're running, dude. I mean, they're running spread. He's getting the ball every time. Not only is he getting the ball every time, he's making decisions every play, and that's huge for a spread offense. All right, not to rush it, but let's get more into the offense, man. We talk about Tyreek Copper all the time. We talk about Tyreek Copper all the time, and we talk about Tyler Jones all the time. We know what we do. We know it because also y'all know what type of product Tyreek and Tyler puts out there. However, there's a reason that Tyreek is very successful and is more successful last year and this year because he has help. He has help, guys. There's one guy I want to talk. There's two guys in particular I want to talk about right here. But let's talk about on the other side of the field. On the other side of the field, on the same side, but on the other side is what's freeing Tyreek Copper up. This is my picture. I'm gonna talk about Okie Edwards, senior 6'2", 180 wide receiver. This year so far, he has 38 catches, 519 yards, 9 touchdowns receiving, 7 rushes, 36 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. And even's got a passing touchdown with a kickoff return. Look, if you don't know this guy, the guy came from Green Central. This guy is a track star. This guy is a sub 22 200 guy, and he's a sub 11 100 guy. He won his conference in the indoor, I think in outdoor. I know him and Kroom, they battle a lot. Kroom has won the conference as well. But having this speed and this size opposite of Tyreek is huge. Chance, I want to give you a chance to chime in right here. What happened last week when they started doubling Tyreek, or when Tyreek started catching the ball and they started getting more attention?
Man, when Tyreek started catching the ball, it's like their defense imploded. Everything they thought was going to work, it completely stopped. They had him good in the first half. They had him. The Stallions had the Vikings. Any way you put it, they had them come out.
But I'm more so asking about how did Okie's performance help Tyreek get open, or vice versa?
Yeah. But like I said, when he's getting doubled, he's getting so much attention. They're trying to shade to him. You can see it all the time, shading safeties down. Okie, he keeps finding ways. They're not hitting him. Okie's getting open. They're just not finding ways to hit him. Boom. Okie sneaks in between a backer and a safety. Tyler throws a beautiful ball in between two of them, 50-yard touchdown. And you just felt it in the moment, like they woke up something, because they had we didn't talk about it, but they had a dirty hit on Tyreek earlier in the game, and I feel like that brought up everything. And Okie, man, he was going at it hard. He was running hard, blocking hard, no block, no rock. So I mean, he was playing great, man.
All right, I'm gonna slide to the other side in the middle.
No block, no rock.
Alex Moore. This is the other guy that does not get talked about. And I love Alex. It was very unintentional. This dude's a dog. This dude is an athlete. Senior 5'11", 180 athlete, and he is everywhere. Just like Okie, just like Jordan Scott from Green Central, Jordan had a touchdown pass, touchdown receiving, touchdown rushing. Both these guys got the same thing. They have thrown for a touchdown, rushed for a touchdown, kickoff return for a touchdown. All the above. 35 catches, 420 yards, 4 TDs, 46 rushes, 240 yards, 3 TDs, even a passing touchdown, and 1 kickoff return for a touchdown. And also, he plays on the defense side of the ball. He has around 54 tackles, 1 interception, and a touchdown return for a fumble. This dude is really, really, really good, and he's very, very, very scary. he gets the ball and he makes stuff happen in space. And he's very violent when he runs the ball. When he runs the ball, he runs with aggression and he runs with explosion. Ryan, how much does Alex Moore play a part in the Kinston offense?
I mean, it's a huge part, and kind of like what Chance just said with Okie. I mean, you've talked about it. I mean, Tyreek gets so much praise, which is deserving for him. I mean, he's a great athlete, but it kind of opens up so much for Okie and Alex. And like you said, Alex is a dog, man. I mean, what I like about Okie and Alex is we've seen it some. I think we saw it in the East Duplin game, Trey, when we were there. Diesel can put those two guys in at quarterback, and they're not just running the ball. They can pop it, throw a pass. Obviously, they got some passing touchdowns. But what I like to see with Alex, man, is he runs like straight downfield. He's not an east to west kind of guy. He's like north to south. And, I mean, he's tough to take down. And, if he gets out in space, just like Tyreek, just like Okie, good luck catching him. Good luck. I mean, you're going to have to get in your car and chase him down.
And that's the thing. They got people not only that are fast, but are football players. These ain't just athletes out there. These guys have been, they're seniors. They're developed. They're been there before. They put 4 years in. Like Mike Thompson says about Okie, he's a dog. He's a dog. He's a dog. You got all these dogs out there. Also, I agree with you on this, Mike. He's a secret weapon. I mean, you're focused on Okie. You're focused on Tyler Jones. You're focused on Josiah Hart. You're focused on Tyreek. And then you still have Alex Moore slipping in there. And you're like, oh, crap, I forgot about him. This is very dangerous. This is what makes great teams is senior leaders that able to make plays at any position. Let's continue with moving. Anybody else want to say anything about those two guys? All right, let's flip. Yeah, he's special for sure. He's special for sure. Let's flip it to the defensive side. The defensive side has not got a lot of talk this year, but honestly, Kinston will not have a winning record if it wasn't not for their defense. Their defense has kept them in a lot of games. When last year, I will be critical. When last year they were pretty bad. They were pretty bad defense. This year they are a solid group making plays and keeping their offense in the game. That's all you can ask for from a defense. That James Keenan game, man, they made James Keenan get out of all their stuff and start running something totally different. That's a sign of a great defense to me. When I change your offensive game plan, that's a good sign. So let's talk about what's going on with the Kinston defense. And I wanted to talk about this guy, but Chance, you said you saw him a little bit last week, and I wanted you to talk about him. I'll talk about him some too, but when we use this term so much, but we really mean it. This dude is a dog, and here he is. Isaiah Newton, man, he is balling. Let me take off the comments right quick so we can see everything. Chance, you go ahead and talk about him.
Yeah, man. When I first got there, I was talking to Camonte about some guys that he thought were going to have big games. And the first dude, I don't think he could have said any faster, was Isaiah Newton. He was like, he's going to go in there. He's going to be in the backfield all night. And everybody knows what Camonte is, man. The Viking, I thought he was just talking out of his head. No, Camonte meant what he said, and it was every play. If he wasn't getting a quarterback hurry, he was in the backfield just making some kind of play. He was hitting the running back, pushing the center backwards. They had no answer for him, and it's going to be very interesting to see how Ayden-Grifton tries to line up with this guy.
All right. I'm looking at the comments, and I love I know Joe. I don't know Joe personally, but I think he played for Kinston last year. I'm sorry, he played for Ayden last year. Joe, who is number 10? We know names, but we don't necessarily know numbers. Let me hit the roster up.
Is that Jack Echo, their tight end? I think that's who he's talking about.
I got to put it over here. Okay, let's see what 6'5" Jack Ewell. I don't know how to say his name. 6'5", 225. Jack Ewell. Hold on. Let me get. I'm gonna leave Newton up there because I'm still gonna talk about him. But I want to see something on Jack. So that's why I like comments. We want to talk to y'all. We want to make it fun. We want good answers, good questions. Let's see what Jack did the first matchup. Sorry, guys.
It's in there. You want me to tell you, or you want to find it?
Yeah, you can't hit it because I don't see it. Go ahead, Chance.
He had 1 catch for 12 yards. Kinston was finding a way to shut him down.
All right, Joe. 1 catch for 12 yards, and this is no disrespect to him. We know he's a dude. We know he's a dude. We know he's gonna have more than 1 catch for 12 yards, but it looks like they have contained him so far, Joe. So you got to give me somebody else better than that. All right, back on Isaiah. Isaiah's the dog, man. He's gonna go get it. He's got grit. He is the man. Sometimes heart over matter, and that's what it is with this dude. He's not the biggest kid. He's not the fastest kid, but he's a dog. All right, let's look at some more stuff. Let's talk about the Ayden-Grifton offense. Ayden-Grifton. Before we talk about Ayden-Grifton offense, let's keep talking about that. The Kinston defense. Ryan, do you got a couple guys, or what do you think about the Kinston defense this year?
Say it again, Trey. You kind of broke up a little bit. I'm sorry.
I said, what did you think about the Kinston defense this year, or any guys particular that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, just talk about defense as a whole. I mean, you said it. Keep echoing what you said, man. It's we don't talk about them enough. We definitely don't talk about them enough on game day. I mean, I feel like the defense, or when you look at Kinston, you look at the shiny objects, right? You look at the fun shiny objects, which was Tyler Jones, which was Alex Moore, Okie Edwards, Tyreek Copper, the Ferraris that Diesel has in that garage. You didn't really talk about the defense, but I mean, they've stepped up. They've kept them in games. You said it earlier. Defense wasn't that good last year. I know they lost to Wallace and to James Keenan, but they were in both of those games. Chance saw them last week. They shut down a great team last week in the second round of the playoffs. Pretty much had their way with them. They're going to have a big game this week. It's tough to really – Isaiah Newton, I was looking at his stats. 13 tackles for loss. He's getting in the backfield. They're going to need those big guys up front. Green Central has the Hogs and the Dogs. Kinston's their defensive line needs to step up and get some tackles. I saw a comment earlier, man. You can't let Ayden-Grifton continue to have a 3rd and short all game, because if you do, it's going to be a long game, and I don't know how well they're going to stop that. Get some pressure early, get some sacks, get an interception when they're trying to throw it to big number 10, shut down the passing game, get off the field when they can, when they have opportunities to get off the field, and let the offense run. And if they do that, then they're moving on.
Here's my 2 cents on the Kinston defense. A couple of players need to be named. The safeties, the corners, Xavion Kroom has done great tackling this year, led the team in tackles. He has done great locking down guys. Jamar's Poole, man Poole. He is a lockdown corner who does not get his props because he's only got 1 pick this year, but he's locking people up. Literally, they're not getting nothing. That's the reason that he doesn't get interceptions, because they don't throw to him. Then they have linebackers, Christian Hams, who's had 3. He leads the team in interceptions with 4, had 3 in 1 game. He is the type that's going to be playing big right here, because if we're being honest, this offense is very well coached, man. They're going to know what's open, when it's open, and guys just got to make plays. Ayden-Grifton is going to get the ball into the spots. We know that. But guys are going to have to make plays like Christian Ham or Dixon off the edge. JD off the edge has been big this year. He's got to have a big game. Karan Humphrey at the linebacker position, he's got to be big as well, because they have EJ Ruffin, which we're about to talk about, which I think is the guy to worry about, is their running back. But the Kinston's defense has, I will say this is not a walk in the park. The Kinston defense has their hands full. We're about to talk about Ayden, but the Kinston has a lot to cover this year. A good running game, a good tight end, a couple good receivers, a good quarterback, and a good offensive scheme. All right, let's jump to the
Ayden. Shout out to Christian Ham, too, leading to Kinston.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sophomore.
Sorry, Christian Ham, 4 interceptions this year.
Yeah, man, he balled out, man. He's just a sophomore. Just a sophomore.
Nor in a blender.
All right, let's move on. What's on the Ayden-Grifton side? Let's talk about the Ayden-Grifton offense. Who wants to go first on this one? Boom. Do I take the stab? All right, so we got Nate Brooks at quarterback for 141 completions for 229 attempts. and 61 completion rate and is 1,772 yards. Ignore that typo up there, guys. We're rushing on this. 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. It looks like he's taking care of the ball. He's looks like a good, decent quarterback. He had a good game the first week against Kinston. But my thing with the quarterback situation is they have flipped the switch, as we talked about earlier in the show. They are not necessarily pass first no more. They're run twice, then maybe pass. They've really been feeding EJ Ruffin here, 168 yards, 168 rushes for 1,223 yards, 16 touchdowns. Joe Anderson, if you're still here, this is the guy I'm worried about. This is the guy I'm worried about for the Kinston defense stopping. If the Kinston defense cannot stop the run game, it's going to be a long night. EJ Ruffin has to be the key, has to be the guy lock in on. What do you guys think?
I'll take it, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, EJ Ruffin, you can see, like you just said, how they flipped. Their offense looks completely different in the last 9 games. He's averaging 7.3 yards per carry. I just did the quick math. That's how you stay ahead of the sticks, and I think that's truly why they went to maybe just run first offense, is because when you get 7 yards a carry, man, you can go up and down the field, and you have long drives. And the best way to beat a team that has a really good offense, keep them off the field. So I think number one key, like we talked about, EJ Ruffin, if you hold them under 100 yards, this sets up for a huge success.
What you got, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to what Chance just said. I mean, they're going to have to contain that run. I just said it earlier. Like Joe Anderson says, EJ a dog. He is a dog. And, I feel like if they can kind of contain him, under 100 rushing yards, I'll tell you right now, I think if you ask anybody on Kinston, the coaching staff, if that's true, then they'll take it as well. But it's going to have to be some really good defense. And like I said, hit him before he gets to the line of scrimmage, hit him in the backfield, kind of muck up that offensive line, defensive line mesh. And, Kinston's got the guys that can do it, though. We've seen it repeatedly over this season, and I'm excited to see it live.
The Kinston game, he had 17 carries for 79 yards. After that, man, he had 6 games over 150 yards rushing. I mean, he has really flipped the switch. And again, that was against the EPC conference, which was loaded with playoff teams. This guy is going to be the guy we got to keep our eye on for the game, period. Don't matter what side you're pulling for. This guy is the X factor. This guy is going to be the difference in the game, in my opinion. If he goes above 100, Ayden-Grifton has a daggone good shot of winning. If he stays under, Kinston does his job. Respectfully, if he goes under, we done seen it. The kid's been balling. So I expect him to go over, but we're going to see. That's going to be big. Let's flip this. Let's flip the script. Let's go to the other side. Let me look at a couple of these comments. Boom. Chance, I'm going to let you talk about the defense. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought this Ayden defense when I watched them against Norfolk North. If you take away that, the reverse handoff for the touchdown early in the game, once they shut down Norfolk North, they figured out exactly what Norfolk North wants. Man, you talking about they got multiple hats to the ball. They're flying off the line of scrimmage. The DBs do a great job of, not getting too handsy, not keeping their eyes in the backfield. One guy that stood out was Carter Phillips. Carter Phelps, I think. These are team deflections. But, man, you talk about they have a lot of pieces just like Kinston. Their defense is physical, something that we see in that Green Central Conference, that it is tough to find ways to score on them consistently.
Mm-hmm. Man, they have showed up and did what they were supposed to do, man. And as we're saying, look who's up there: EJ Ruffin, Jack Hill. Looks like they're using their athletes. I love it. We said it all year last year and on teams we covered. Hey, man, you got to have your best 11 out there. It looks like Ayden's having their best 11 out there, and they're playing ball. Respect to this Ruffin kid and the Eel kid, man. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. If not, I'm sorry. But respect to both of them. Ryan, what do you see when you look at Ayden-Grifton's defense and what they bring?
Yeah, looking at their schedule as well, and when you look at like the points they've allowed, I mean they've given up some points, kind of throughout this year, but some of those, I'm gonna go Ewell. I'm gonna mess that up. So we have to find his kid Friday night when we're there and apologize for butchering his name. But they've given up some points. Kinston's given up some points. I really think, looking at it, I mean, they're giving up 20, 22, 31. They gave up 13 last week. I think that Kinston can score on this defense, and this is not going to be a 7-6 game. You look at the same matchups. Kinston and Green Central played each other. Green Central and Ayden played each other. Green Central beat Kinston, and Ayden beat Green Central, but it was very kind of similar game. The one matchup for me that I liked looking at was when they played Washington, and I don't think this is going to be a game like Kinston played Washington or Ayden-Grifton played Washington, where it's just a 2-point game, like 10-8, 10-6, 14-12, something like this. I see this game, man, if I was setting the line on this, which we're not gambling on high school sports, but if I was setting the over-under on this, it's up there. I mean, I'd put it 60, 65, 70, because I think both teams are just going to come out, fire the ball, score a bunch of points. But I think that, Kinston's defense on paper looks a little bit better than Ayden-Grifton's.
And I got to give time and shout out to the Kinston offensive line right here. The Kinston offensive line, man, the first week, I thought they were bad.
First 2 weeks.
They were bad. And I don't know what Coach Thorpe did. I don't know what Coach Gee did. I don't know who changed, who they implemented, but ever since then, they have done an incredible job, man. Jeremiah Suggs, Edward Thompson. We're talking about Mayshawn Pollard has been huge for this team, been a leader for the offensive line. Jamari Rosberg, and I'm pretty sure there's guys I'm leaving out because offensive line you don't get the Tyreek Copper tag right there. You don't get the name and glory. That's the hogs, that's the dogs and the hogs or whatever Coach Wilson calls it. Shout out to them for balling out this year and proving to get better. Now, back to the game. Here we go. We've done talked about it all. Now it's time for our predictions. We didn't write this down, so we're going straight off the dome. Ryan, and hey, while we're saying these predictions, everybody, please put it in the comments. We expect to see Ayden. Joe, we know we want your prediction, Joe Anderson. Kroon, everybody, what's your predictions for this game? Put it in the comments. Chance Scott, here you go. You're up.
Man, I said it last week. As soon as the game was over, Kinston was going to win this game, and I have not once changed my mind over these last week. This is, I believe, Kinston's game. I think Kinston's finally there clicking. I think that second half for Tyler Jones really probably clicked in his head. I think his playoff, he's got that third. He's got a second round playoff win under his belt on the road, 3 seed. Now he's getting to go on the road somewhere. He's already played a team. He's already seen them. He's a little bit more comfortable. So he can find more things in film. I've got it going 35-28, Kinston touchdown with under a minute to go in the fourth quarter to end the game.
All right, Mr. Pittman, you're up.
Man, I'm gonna take the Vikings in this one, Trey and Chance. I like I said earlier, I think it's gonna be a very high scoring game. I think Tyreek Copper, Okie Edwards, Alex Morris, Jeremiah Hart, Tyler Jones, they're gonna click. But I think Ayden-Grifton is going to score as well. I see Joe 36-28 AG. I could see 36-28 Kinston. But this isn't an easy game. This isn't a walkover. I know it's a lot closer to Kinston than they have gone in the first 2 rounds. But I'm gonna take the Vikings, row the boat, skull. I think they get it done, and hopefully if they can win, I hate looking ahead, man. I ain't counting the chickens before they hatch. They can win, man. I hope is it Eastern Wayne and Whiteville playing on their side? Maybe we go to Goldsboro next week. But hey, look, also shout out to Lenore County Schools and the people prepping those buses. Those activity buses have ran over 250 miles or 250, 300 miles the last 2 weeks. Shout out to them for getting them buses ready. We're going right down the road for this one, though.
All right, now I'm up. I see the comments. I see some crazy comment. Then I say, hey, Joe, I like the 36-28. I actually think that's a great prediction. I honestly can see Kinston losing 36-28, and I can see Kinston winning 36-28. What y'all got to understand is, man, these two teams are very, very, very similar. I do think Kinston has a little bit more star power, a little bit more. Yeah, that Alex Moore kind of turns the tide. But the thing with me with Kinston on this, you cannot go into this game saying, me and Chance talked about this, you cannot go into this game saying, hey, we already beat them. This is not the same team. This is not the same team. This is not the same team you play week 3. Look, key the stats up right there. This team's averaging 191 rushing yards when they were averaging 77 when they faced y'all. We cannot go in there high-headed. Both these teams had bad seasons last year, and both these teams have turned those seasons around, and both these teams have most of the same returning roster. So I see both teams hungry. I see both teams going after and getting it. The biggest thing for me that got me torn, both teams have great, great coaching staffs. Shout out to Paul Cornwell for turning the program around and coming back. Garrett Wingate, don't know you, but I know of you. I mean, you've been balling there. Then Coach Gee does it again. I mean, look at the whole coaching staff. You got Coach Thorpe, you got Coach Bryant, you got the NFL player Terrence Copper, and he's not just Tyreek's dad out there. Coach Copper is coaching. Like he's locked in, and I really like what I see. Like I said, it can go either way, but I'm going to Kinston way 36-28. I like that score right there. Any more closing comments, you guys? Anything you want to say? Let me take me off, fool.
Not really, man. I mean, I'm just excited. I think we're all going to be there Friday. We're going to have the whole new snooze crew there. We're going to do some pregame, maybe some halftime, some postgame, some more lives. But I mean, it's going to be a great time. Hey, weather report. Yeah, I have some weather report. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there who's listening. It's supposed to rain Thursday afternoon. And then rain again. I think it was Saturday, but Friday it's just going to be cold. It's going to be some football weather, so expect some great action down there. And I guess it's Ayden-Grifton or wherever it is. It's in Pitt County. It's kind of in there in the middle. But Trey, we're going to have some great football Friday night.
My only thing I ask for, and I demand this, and I don't care if you're for Ayden, I don't care if you're Kinston, show up to the game, man. This is what you want.
Yeah.
This is what you got. Ayden versus Kinston, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles down the road. There's no bad blood. There's nothing to worry about. There's no chippy stuff. Just football teams going at it with two great coaches. Pack the stands, guys. Pack the stands. Like Ryan said, we're going to be updating you all game, but not just that. We're going back live Friday morning. We're going back live Friday before the game. We're going live Friday at halftime. We're going live Friday at the end of the game. New Sports got you guys. New Sports got you guys. My boy Hubert Quinley said a great thing earlier this week, and I really appreciate it. He said after one of our other live shows, the coverage in the area is elite. But for it to be elite, we got to have the audience, man. Show up to the game, man. Show up. Good luck, Kinston. Good luck, Ayden. Guys, y'all got anything else? Hey, man, it's been fun. We'll see you soon. I'm Trey Scott. Say y'all's names. We ain't never done this before.
That's Chance Scott.
Ryan Pittman.
I'm Ryan Pittman. Yeah, there we go.
And in the stream. See you guys soon.
That's right.
All right, great job. It's over. It's supposed to be 44 minutes.
I think we're still alive, Trey.
I think we're still alive.
All right, now.